one of the things that hindered both teams this past year was the weather in the spring. It was one of the worst winters, maybe not as far as snow accumulation, but as far as just consistent cold and dreary conditions that, a lot of our facilities were closed off and on throughout most of our spring season. So that hindered both teams, and we saw erratic play out of our teams early in the spring. But both teams, as the spring progressed and as we hit better weather at the beginning of April, that's when the performances started getting better. We started getting consistent daily practice in, which was important. And when you do that, have that consistent practice, the players start to build more confidence in their game and themselves. And it showed at conference championship for both teams. The women had their highest finish ever, second place in the CAA, and the men finished third. And so, it's a credit to both the players. They persevered. They got tired of me saying, we just have to deal with it, that they had to persevere the conditions. And it's at the end of the day, their patience, I think, is probably the best word. Their patience paid off, and in some great performances at probably our most important tournament of the year. Fitness is tremendously important for golf now, especially when it comes to your core strength and to help you with stability. And obviously, you need to have good flexibility for that. So it's something that we emphasize through Coach Sauer here, and all the players are sent home with a summer program. So it's probably no different than any other sport these days. Whereas maybe 20 years ago, I know when I played college golf, we didn't go to the weight room. So it's definitely a different atmosphere when it comes to strength and conditioning than it was just 20 years ago. Well, we're fortunate that we had several donors go together, and when they approached us on what maybe they could do for us, one of the things, I think when they actually approached us, they had just seen us crawling out of one of the 12-passenger vans, and it obviously wasn't comfortable for the golf team with everything we have to take with us and so forth on trips. So, it's definite plus. It's a recruiting tool. It's going to have all the features and internet, satellite TV, leather seats. The back seat even reclines down into like a bed. So it's going to be something that obviously is going to improve the quality of transportation for our teams, and getting to and from tournaments is going to be a lot more comfortable than it used to be. We have a core of 4 players, that were with us at the CAA Golf Championship that are going to be the foundation for next year. And Alex Liu, Kelly Edelblue, Kelly Moran, and Anna McMullen. They were solid for us at the end of the year. Our last 2 tournaments, I thought they all played, really well under some adverse conditions. But then you look, our qualifying. Well, if you looked at our qualifying averages last year, nobody was that far off. So you look for Tina Chang and Mia Zangetti and Kelly Oken to come back in next year and challenge and probably knock a couple of those girls out of the lineup. That's the great thing I think we have in that team, is a competitiveness from top to bottom, where they're pushing each other from week to week and from tournament to tournament. And we've never had that here in our women's golf team, so it's kind of fun to see our lineup. Well, it creates some havoc for a coach every now and then. It's fun to see how tight they are in scores and how competitive they are with each other and how they push each other on a daily basis. On the men's side, we basically have a core of 4 players that played essentially every tournament last year. Alex Hicks, Charlie Kern, and the Morrison twins, Davis and Austin. Alex is pretty much our leader. He is, every player on the team learns from just playing with him and watching him play. The great thing about Alex is that he doesn't beat himself. He is so good at managing himself and managing his game out there. There's days where we're all off, and there's days where he's off and doesn't feel as comfortable with his golf swing, and his score might reflect that. But he never beats himself, and I've never had in my time here, he might be the best at that as far as managing himself and the golf course and how he approaches it and his strategy. So, he's our leader. He was, our best player this past year, and we'll look for him to come back and continue the success that he had for most of the year this past year. And then, Kern and the Twins, they were very solid. Charlie will be a senior. Just hits it a mile, can shoot anything, and when I say anything, he can, he could shoot something that you feel like on any given day, if he gets his putter rolling, he can shoot anything in the low 60s. I mean, I think that's the potential that he has. And the Twins are just solid players. They came in and they probably had the 2 best freshman campaigns of any golfer that we've ever had. And so, the future's bright on the men's side. Luka Horowitz, who will be a sophomore, he was a freshman last year, really played well for us at conference championship. He was that number 5 guy that I was searching for the entire year, and he came on at the end of the year and really, was the foundation of why we finished in 3rd place in the CAAs. He put up solid scores that were going to help the team, and it's something we hadn't had the number 5 spot basically the entire year. Well, on each side we add Elon to the conference this year, and of course last year we added College of Charleston. So 2 schools which really emphasize golf, and they're they're always historically pretty good programs. So while we've lost some schools in the CAA, at least in golf, the ones they've brought in are just as good as the schools that have left the CAA. So, William & Mary, we're always going to be the underdog in golf, and for various reasons. But we're always going to be the underdog. But that's a role that at every place I've coached, and I've always relished. I wouldn't want to work for the favorite or the one who has the most money or the biggest and brightest facilities and so forth. It's a challenge. But again, I would go back. William & Mary is different because I think we work with a very unique, motivated young male or female, and so that I enjoy that. I enjoy that aspect of it, and I enjoy the challenge of trying to build the program up to where we do kind of hopefully surprise some teams and compete for conference titles.